Hi study buddies, so in today's video I'm going to share some tips you can use to make your high school life a little bit easier and less hectic. Personally, I know high school was always really daunting and scary, but once I became a freshman back in 2014, I realized that high school was just another iteration of middle school. So before we go on, I just want you to know that the tips I'm going to give you are definitely going to help, but if you really want to succeed in school, it comes down to you. There's really no magic life hack, study tip, or guide that will really help you if you're not willing to help yourself. Like I always say, getting good grades doesn't mean you're smart, it means that you put in the time and you worked hard. So if you want to survive high school, it really comes down to your work ethic, willingness to study, and effort. High school is hard, there's really no way of avoiding that, but if you try, it will be easier. But nevertheless, here are some essential tips for high school students. To get whatever GPA you are aiming for, you need to spend more time focusing and working productively. So my first tip is to develop good habits. For example, I didn't do this for my freshman year, but I did do this for my sophomore year. So after school, I would go to my local library, which just so happens to be at my high school, and I would work on homework with some friends for a few hours. After I finished all my homework, or just the majority, I would go back home and I wouldn't have to worry about homework or school anymore. That means when I got back to home, which would be around 5 to 6 p.m., I would be able to relax, maybe watch a few episodes of my favorite show. If I had more motivation, I would do extra homework that would be due later in the week. So why is this so important? Habits are sometimes overlooked. There are good habits and there are bad habits. A good habit is, for example, what I do for my after school routine that I just went over. A bad habit would be watching Netflix right after school and doing homework at 3 a.m. every day. You want to develop good habits so you're as productive as possible. Personally, I know whenever I'm at home, I really can't focus on doing homework because I have the option to put it aside and watch YouTube or just surf the web. So that's why I like going to the library, because first of all, I don't have the option to just lay in bed and watch YouTube. Second, I'm able to talk and get help from other people, which makes me more productive. So make sure you plan an after-school routine that you can follow. Don't make it too extreme, don't make it too easy. Personally, I think just going to the library and spending a few hours doing homework right after school is really useful, and I think anyone can follow that. I don't think it's too hard, I don't think it's too easy. Number 3, get a planner. Any sort of planner will do, just to keep track of your assignments, due dates, etc. It's one of the most essential things you can have for school, and sadly I see a lot of people don't have planners. If you aren't too keen on carrying around a planner and you mainly just use your phone, I would really recommend downloading a to-do app. I actually use multiple to-do apps. The first one is the reminder app that Apple gives you on the iPhone. I think it's really simple and does the job. So whenever you finish a class and the teacher assigns you homework, write it down on the reminder app. The second one I use is Microsoft's to-do app. Again, not sponsored, but I have been using this app for a long time and I really do love it. Again, it's really super simple and all you have to do is type in your assignments. Number 4, a planner is super important to keep track of all the things you need to do, but what is more important is actually doing the things you need to do. So what I really recommend if you just cannot concentrate or finish things on time is to figure out why. And I know that might be a stupid question, but for me, I was going through a time where I just kept procrastinating and not finishing things, and I asked myself, why am I doing this and how can I stop? Well, I figured out the main source of my distraction and me not working is technology. Technology is such a big problem because it's probably your biggest reason why you're not excelling in school. So if you do have a problem of just spending way too much time on your phone or computer, what I recommend is to download Forest on your phone and SelfControl on your computer. Forest basically blocks you from using your phone. You can still access it whenever you want, but basically if you spend too much time on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc., it blocks you from using it so you can concentrate on your homework. The free version of Forest is Focus Now, which is basically the same thing, but it's free. Again, Forest completely blocks you from using your phone, but you can still access it. So if you get a phone call or text message, you can still use it, but force provides an inconvenience so you're not on your phone 24/7. For the computer, self-control doesn't completely restrict you, so you can still go on Google, Microsoft Word, etc. But what it does is it blocks you from going onto specific sites that you usually get distracted on. So for example, if you get distracted on YouTube, Netflix, Facebook, or whatever, it blocks you from using those sites for a specific amount of time. So as you can see, I set the timer to 15 minutes, but you can set the timer to as long as 24 hours. And whenever I type in facebook.com or youtube.com or any other site I blacklisted, the site just won't load. So that means you can forcibly restrict yourself from using distracting sites and just focus on working. So why is this so important? If you spend more than 1 hour on Facebook or even just 30 minutes, then you have a problem. Why I like self-control so much is because you really can't use a site. The app blocks you from going onto it so you can focus on doing work. I really recommend checking out both apps. They're really useful during study sessions, during homework sessions, etc. or just keeping me off of YouTube, Facebook for a while. So we went over tips on after-school productivity, being organized through a planner, and how you can focus and concentrate more by blocking out unnecessary technology. Now let's go through some study tips. So this one is a basic one. Number 5, if you know you have an extremely difficult exam coming up and you have a week to study, spread out the studying time. Study 1, maybe 2 hours or even just 30 minutes a day for a week. It's better than 5 hours of cramming the day before the test, which I know everyone has gone through. I think everyone knows spreading out studying time is important, but not a lot of people actually do it. I know I have waited last minute for a lot of my exams and just try not to do that. I would really recommend printing out some study printables like a study tracker, a study guideline, etc. These might help you plan and execute a study habit and routine. Number 6, so moving on from studying, let's talk about your mental health. School tips aren't always about school, this is about surviving it. Here are some mental health tips to keep you sane throughout high school. School is stressful, there's a lot of baggage that comes along with it. What I recommend is to balance your school life, your social life, and your life outside of everyone. School is important, but you should look after yourself, so take some time, once in a while, maybe once in a week, to hang out with your friends, maybe watch a movie or get a bagel. This will do wonders for your mental health. Another thing is to do things that you actually enjoy. So during my sophomore year, I began bullet journaling, which you might know from my Instagram, but I used to spend some time every day or during the weekend listening to music or watching a show while I bullet journaled. And it helped me a lot to get through high school and I enjoyed it a lot. So every now and then, do things that you actually enjoy. That's basically how you survive high school. You work productively, get things done, study and concentrate, but you also have fun. You do things that you like, you hang out with your friends. High school is tough. Disregard whatever I said earlier, it is tough. Even if you try your hardest, you might not be where you want to be. But that's perfectly fine, as long as you try. And this video isn't perfect, but what it can do is it can give you a general idea of how you should prioritize your school life and make the best out of high school. So before we go on, I have a quick announcement I need to make. Recently, I made 2 beautiful enamel pins. One is a classic red rose, the other is a rainbow, and all the profit I make from my store is going to charity. Currently, the 2 charities are the Trevor Project and UNICEF. One pin is $7.50, 2 pins would be $10.50. And right now, for a limited time, there is free shipping on all orders in the US if you use the code YouTube. I'll leave a link to the store and my pins in the description. Thanks! Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys had a lovely summer break. Sadly, it's almost over, but don't worry because I have a ton more videos planned to get you through school. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. I post videos every week on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I also have a few giveaways coming up. Please go follow my Instagram for some inspiration. If you didn't know, I post daily on my Instagram. Go check out my Snapchat at StudyWithInspo and like this video. I'll see you next week. Bye!